So it is time to get this project done.
This is our journey. Welcome to the Betancourt's homestead.
This is what I have. I have all 5 of the beds. The dirt has been sifted from all 5 of the beds. That was a project. It came from over here, the dirt that our excavator saved for us. So it has been sifted. The bad dirt has gone over. I'm building up the back part of that area or the front part of that area, designing it and contouring it the way that I see it being. Now I have gone into the seed shack and I have pulled out all kinds of vermiculite and alfalfa pellets and perlite and screws and phosphate rocks and minerals and everything that I could find that was in there. Because remember, I'm trying to do this with no money, so I'm only using what I have. And I'm going to take the covers off of these. As soon as I come working up in this area and I take the covers off, the cats come and they stare at me and they say, "Turn your back, mother, so I can poop in that bed." I was literally sifting the rocks and sifting the poop out of the beds. It was not fun, trust me. So I'm going to get working on that. At the same time, I'm also going to put my my trellis system up, or my system that I use to keep the cats out of the bed, and hope that it keeps the deer out of the bed long enough for me to put the fencing up. So here we go. We're off. Okay, so I am done putting the amendment on top, and I'm going to be working it in, but I wanted to talk to you for just a minute about what I put in. So I have a recipe where I start seeds, seed starting mix, and I use vermiculite, perlite, and peat moss. So I have a lot of that. It's a third of each, and that is a great seed starting mix. Now, I've talked to farmers, and the farmers tell me that they add alfalfa pellets to their beds, and the farmers have these amazing gardens. They add alfalfa pellets to their beds, and then they mix it in, and it absorbs the water, slowly releases the water, and as it releases, it decomposes the good stuff from the alfalfa pellets. Because if you look here, you're supposed to put, it's got soil microbes beneficial alfalfa meal, so you're supposed to put alfalfa meal in your soil. So the farmers just use the pellets that they feed, animal feed. So we're trying that this year. And then I put crushed eggshell, because that has calcium in it. And I put rock phosphate, because that has minerals in it. So I put some rock phosphate. It has beneficial soil microbes, soft rock phosphate, and that's what I have. And it's a lot of vermiculite, a lot of perlite, and the perlite and the vermiculite is just to get aeration in there so it doesn't compact as much. The alfalfa pellets is to absorb the moisture and to hold it in a little bit longer so I don't have to water as much, because this area I have to hand water. The minerals are in the rock phosphate, and I thought I had bone meal, but I could not find that. The rock phosphate and the alfalfa. And there you go, people. So I'm just going to lightly mix this in the top 6 inches of soil. We'll see what we got. We'll see what it looks like, and then we'll start covering it. There it is. It is all mixed in, about a foot deep. Now we start making the covers for the bed. Making the covers for the bed, I'm going to show you how I do that. Hi, Max. We went to Lowe's a couple days ago and we picked up piping. We picked up 1/2 inch Charlotte pipe. It's a thin-walled PVC. It's not a really thick one, the thin one right there. That one will bend easier than the thick one. And we picked up, I think this is 3/4 inch Charlotte PVC. It's also the thin-walled. we're going to cut this and mount it to the beds, and the 1/2 inch will slip inside the 3/4 inch. Here is where I'm going to tell you that it was massively difficult doing the shopping. It was almost like we were in a socialist country, because one store didn't have half the stuff we needed on the shelf, and the other store didn't have half the other stuff we needed on the shelf. So we thought we left one store, and we left one store, and the store that didn't have the strapping that I needed, and we were just going to go over and buy everything at the other store. Well, the other store didn't have one of the piping, the 1/2 inch thin walled piping. So we bought the strapping and the 3/4 inch pipe, and then we went back over and bought the other piping. It was almost just like surreal. I've never had to leave one huge big box hardware store to go and buy half of the other stuff at the other one. It was like, why? Why are the shelves like emptier? Why are they not even carrying it anymore? One store was like, we don't carry that. And I'm like, you used to, but I didn't say that. I was nice. I said, oh, okay, thank you. So we're going to put this together and I will show you. It's actually very simple, time-consuming, and inexpensive. So the whole entire bed structure is costing me less than $100. Each bed is cedar, and it's got $100 worth of cedar bedding of 10 foot by 30 inches, which is an Elliott Coleman. The 30 inches is an Elliott Coleman measurement. They're just easy to reach. I can do the whole entire bed on one side. So I literally can go down the middle of 2 beds, and I can weed this side and weed this side at the same time, right? So that's why they're 30 inches deep. And then, so there's $100 in each bed. So there's $500 worth of lumber here, and then probably $70 worth of piping, and my screws and my work over here. So $570 for 5 garden beds, and the netting. So we'll say $600. We'll say $600. And then all of the amendments that I put in the bed were amendments that I had collected from years. And you know what? Why keep them in the seed shack when you can be using them out here? So I used them. We're trying to keep the cost down as much as possible. The garden beds I built 4 years ago, so they've got 4 years of worth in them. I'll probably get another 4 years out of them at least. And the piping will last me, gosh, I have piping here that's at least 5 years old, and one has broke. Just one tube has broke, and that was my fault. That was my fault. Oh, look. Yeah. Oh, you're going to be all lovey-lovey to me. He wants to poop in my bed. Don't let him fool you. He's like, oh, turn around so I can poop in your bed. No, you're not going to turn around. I know what you want to do. I know what you want to do. Gotta go. Bye. So I now have all of my 3/4 inch thin-walled PVC. There's a name for it. It's the Charlotte pipe. I now have it all cut into 10-inch sections, 8 per bed. And then I have drilled a little tiny hole in one end, just one end. And I've put a 2.5-inch screw set right inside of it, right through it. The next step, I'm taking the PVC pipe that I drilled one screw in the bottom, and I am screwing it, just like I did this one, to the base, so that the PVC just sits below the lip of the bed. Now, this is just the beginning. If you notice, I laid 2 PVC pipes across the beds. That's so that I put them all so that the poles, when I put the poles in, that they're not kitty wonkus. So there you go. We're off to working. We got 3.5 more beds to go. Okay, so this is what we are using next. I have officially made a mess of it. It is 3/4 by 100 foot galvanized hanger strap. It is what we used to strap, or what we do strap our water heaters with, right? And how are we going to use that? It's going to be on the top part of the PVC pipes that I just screwed in at the bottom. So stay tuned. Now, the next thing we're going to do is take this little strip of galvanized strapping, and we're going to put it on here. Now, we're also going to add a little screw that barely sticks out, and that's going to hold our netting. Now, I've got the straps here. See what I do here. I just pick a hole, I screw it down, and I screw it down here, and that keeps the whole strap from moving, because it moves right here. Now, I use the big, there's a different size holes. I use the big hole that's in the middle, and I squish it down. I take one, and squish, and I'm done. That's it. I got a whole bunch of the other beds I have to finish, so you're gonna have to just wait. Okay, so totally not sure if you can see me or not, but we are finishing the garden beds. We are going to be putting in the PVC pipes, the structure of it, and covering them up. Watch. That moment I remember something. I actually need to cut each pipe down. Or do I? Let's check this and see if it works.
So I went in and had to cut 2 feet off of each PVC pipe in order for it to sit properly and arch better. Now you're going to just gently bend the pipe down, go slow so that you don't crack the pipe, and ease it into your holder brackets that you just placed. The fun begins. We're going to be taking the bird netting. I buy bird netting in 100-foot rolls. It comes 10 feet wide by 100 feet. So you measure down about 14 feet and you cut that, and what you have is a 14 to 15 foot long piece of bird netting that you're going to unwrap and put over the bed.
Okay, we have it done, all 5 of the beds. So, the bird netting that comes in 10-foot wide rolls, I put a screw at the bottom of the long bed, just one little tiny screw, and I sink them in so that they're only like sticking out 1/4 of an inch, because I would hit myself with that. Now, there is still a hole for a cat to get in right here where all of it comes to meet, where all of the netting comes to meet. So I'm going to gather that up and I'm going to put a clip on it. That way I can unclip it. You can see down at the very back, at the very bottom, I've done that with I've done it with this one. I just gather it up and clip it at the end, and then that's it. my friends, they are done. They are done for right now. They are not planted. I am getting ready to go inside. I am starving. It is like 2.5 hours past my breakfast times, which means it's 12:30 right now. I'm going to put all of this stuff away, go inside, leisurely make myself some breakfast. We might as well just call it lunch now. And start going through my garlic and seeing if there is any that I can salvage and plant. I'll be back out here this afternoon to plant the beds up. Yep. But right now, at least the cats can't poop in them, right? At least the cats can't poop in them. So at this point in time, I'm just going to tell you this garden is going to be a miracle if it actually works. I just went into the barn. It's just a storage unit where we store the potatoes, and yes, some of them look like they can be salvaged and stored. I have not gone through them all to see if I will be able to get every variety of the potatoes that I have grown, but it does look like I'll have enough potatoes to put in the ground. So I'll be going through those in a minute. A mess. They are a mess. And they're all entwined with each other. And okay, there's that. I was able to plant one bed full of shallots right now. So this bed has been planted full of shallots. I've watered it, and you can literally see the alfalfa has plumped up like big time. Anyways, it's the high heat of the day, but I am still going to be out here because I'm going to work until this is planted. So I had to order garlic because my garlic did not fare so well. It was all rotted. So shallots, yes. Garlic, no. Man, the garlic was $65 to reorder. Better than nothing, right? So I'm in line for garlic, and I'll probably save one bed for the garlic because I'm starting over from scratch, so I'm not going to have as much garlic as I usually do. And it was a crowded one bed before, so one bed. I'll eventually go to 2 beds. So I'm going to do potatoes in these 3 beds, I think. See if I can find enough potatoes. At this point in time, I'm really only looking for 1 or 2 of each variety, just so that I can keep the variety, the genetic variety that has altered itself to my growing area, right? Because every year that you grow and you save and you grow to your area, it gets a little bit more easier to grow. And these things were just so amazingly easy. Long time storage stores. These literally have been in storage for over a year and a half. I would not even attempt to eat them, but the German butterball has done amazing. And there's a purple variety in there that looks like it's doing great. So we will see. I am actually going to be going through them, and I will lay them out, and we will see what we have, and I will show you later. Yeah, some of these just look like they are wilted, but they have the little root things. So you know what? If we don't try, we will never know. And that's the whole thing about gardening. Try. Just try. What's the worst that can happen? I water a garden bed for a couple months and I don't get anything. But what's the best that can happen? I get potatoes. And I should go on the record in saying I did plant potatoes last year in a back part of the garden, and I never harvested them, and they have literally replanted themselves over and over and over. So I can always go to this back part of the garden and start digging them up. It might be beneficial for me to dig some up, and I can save some and put them in beds. So next year, I'm pretty sure I will be able to do that. But right now, I just want to see if I can get these in beds. Because why waste them? Bye, you guys. So this is what I have. I have enough German butterball that these are such great long-term keepers. Fingerlings, I call these Lena fingerlings. I have, there's red potatoes over here, and then there's purple potatoes, and then there is these, and they were a red potato also. These are not long-term keepers. I'm surprised they have not rotted and there's not maggots all over them. Those are not long-term keepers. They're usually the ones I use first. And then these are new into the world for me. But the fingerlings are also very long-term keepers. But look at this. So this shows me right here that I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be able to, I might just plant this whole thing, right? He's going to want, he actually split open and started growing his own little potatoes. And I'm actually going to take those. See, they want to survive. So this guy has a whole bunch of those. This one, oh, you're a fingerling. You can't be in there. So they tried to grow, and you're a fingerling. So I'm going to go through and separate, and then we are going to start planting. Yep, I'll probably do I'll do 2 or 3 beds, and it'll be hopefully a good year for potatoes next year. I may get a crop out of them in winter. Our winters can be pretty mild, and potatoes do grow really well, and there are these 2 here are fast crops, which means I could do 2 crops a year if I wanted to. German butterballs, not so much. I'll be lucky if I get a crop next spring. There you go. But fingerlings, oh my gosh, those should be amazing. So here's to planting. You guys have a great day. Bye. Hello. Hello. Trying to get the phone set up. This is not the correct way, right? I could go in and get the tripod and the big girl camera, but I just want to make life hard for me.